I moved to Delhi a month ago, and like any entrant to a new city, I too had to look for housing. I looked everywhere: nice neighborhoods, not so nice neighborhoods, apartments that were furnished, and those that were bare. And honestly, I didn't like most of what I saw. But that's all that actually fit within my budget. And that seems to be the experience of a lot of young people. During COVID, rents had stalled for some time. But a Business Line report found that since then, rents have been shooting up at a rate of 16% year on year. Already, moving is no fun. Now, we also have to worry about increasingly unaffordable rents. My name is Kudrat Wadhwa, and you're listening to The Signal Daily. We don't do hot takes. Instead, we'll bring you deep dives into the how and why of consumer trends. In this episode, we'll learn about how young Indians are navigating the country's increasingly expensive rental markets.
So what's your experience then like house hunting in Delhi?
I hate it. It's a lot more difficult than I thought it would be. But yeah, I feel like the houses here are just, there's no ventilation, bro. There's no windows, and it's just like boxes stacked on top of each other. And it's so difficult because it's Delhi. So you also need to see like your areas and your safety and if it's a gated society or not. And it's a big headache. So I don't like it at all.
Meher recently graduated from college and is now working as a marketing assistant at an art gallery in South Delhi. It's her first job out of school, and she earns a salary of 35,000 rupees per month. According to the Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation, the average Indian in their early 20s earns about 6,000 rupees per month. But realistically speaking, her salary is still relatively low given Delhi's rents. Meher said that her budget for housing is about 20,000 rupees. That's technically way higher than what she should pay given her salary, but she's lucky enough to have help from her parents.
So let's say you weren't getting help from your parents. Can you be able to find something within your sort of salary budget?
No, I don't think so. I would find something, but I don't think I would be like satisfied with it. It would just be for like sustaining myself because I need to like find a place to live.
Meher has her family's financial support, but not all youngsters are that lucky. What of those young people whose families just cannot afford to help them out? Not only that, high rents are not just a problem for those of us who are starting out in our careers. A 2024 report by AON Group, a consulting company, found that salaries in India are rising at a rate of about 10% each year. At the same time, rental costs are rising at a phenomenal rate. That's true across most metro cities, but especially in Bengaluru. In this city, the overall rent inflation last year was between 24 to 35%, according to a money control report that quoted Saurabh Garg, the co-founder of NoBroker.in. Hold up, let me explain. Say you're living in Bengaluru and earning a salary of 50,000 rupees and paying a rent of 20,000 rupees per month. According to the above numbers, next year you'd earn 55,000 rupees but pay a rent of 25 to 27,000 rupees. This means that you'd actually be paying a significantly higher share of your salary in rent than what you paid just 1 year before. Now, you might say that if you've already signed a lease with a landlord, they can only increase the rent by a certain percentage. In India, each state has their own version of the Rent Control Act, which generally dictates an upper limit for how much your landlord can increase the rent by. But reports show that many landlords, particularly those in Bengaluru and Mumbai, do not follow those guidelines and increase rents by as much as 30%. Their argument, we're just trying to match market rates. This phenomenon of rising rents is pushing young Indians out of big cities.
I am Abhishek Mahajan. I'm 31-year-old. I work with Times of India as a senior video editor.
Abhishek moved to Mumbai in 2012. when he was just 18 from his hometown of Karnal in Haryana. His dad worked as a photographer, meaning Abhishek grew up around cameras and saw them as his toys. When Abhishek first moved to Mumbai, he lived in a PG, close to the institute he was studying fashion photography at. He says he lived with about 10 people in a 2-bedroom apartment, and each of them paid 8,000 rupees each. Their rent went up by about 10 to 12% each year.
And one thing is very bad in Mumbai, the broker thing. They charge like every year they charge you brokerage. Every year you have to pay the brokerage. उससे भी जो ज्यादा बड़ा चीज है जो कि जब आप घर लेने जाते हो, more than rents, it is deposits. Because there are no limits on the deposits.
Mumbai has notoriously annoying brokers. Abhishek said that in Mumbai, brokers call you each year and you have to pay a brokerage fee even if you're staying in the same apartment. In Mumbai, landlords also tend to demand unreasonable deposits. Abhishek said he often paid deposits equivalent to 6 months of his rent. Abhishek stayed at the PG for about 5 years, after which he got his own place. Living in Andheri, where his PG was way too expensive. So he got a place in Kandivali, in the outskirts of the city. He would commute to his office for almost 2 hours each way. His work hours were long too, and during the week, he was only home for about 7 hours. That means he got just about 5 hours of sleep every night.
So then I used to suffer from like the BP kind of fun issues and all. Because obviously hectic, बहुत ज़्यादा hectic schedule होता है, and you know आप शिफ्ट के लिए लेट हो गए हो क्योंकि आप इतनी दूर रह रहे हो रेंट बचाने के लिए और आप पास में रह नहीं पा रहे हो, तो मेरे को मतलब obviously मेरे को ब्लड प्रेशर का इशू हो गया उस सिनेरियो में, hypertension 3rd stage and all. So then me and my wife one day we sat on the weekend and we were like यार नहीं यार ऐसा तो नहीं चलेगा यार. And she was like Abhishek, we have to choose now something. She's like नोएडा में भी तो ऑफिस है.
Abhishek eventually did get his transfer to Noida approved. In Noida, he lives in a high-rise building that's only about 12 minutes from his office. He says the rent too is within his budget.
The best part is deposit सिर्फ एक rent देना है. Okay, no problem. And the best part is brokerage जो है वो rent का half देना है. I was like very good. Last month I renewed my contract and I was like सर जो मेरे ओनर है उनको बोला, मैंने कहा ब्रोकरेज पे करना है क्या? कहते हैं कि ब्रोकर को क्यों देना है? ऐसे कोई भी दिया था. ये नोएडा इधर ब्रोकर एक बार ही आता है. मैंने कहा अच्छा चल.
Though Abhishek is happy with his move, rents wise, he says he misses his community that he had formed in Mumbai.
The thing is 12 साल की दोस्ती, 12 साल के लोग सब छोड़ने पड़ गए. That is the जो कि मैं कहता हूँ शायद रेंट ही साथ में ले गया. So that is the thing.
Moving to Noida was a financially sound decision for Abhishek, and luckily his manager agreed to transfer him. Now his rent is much more affordable. But moving cities is no joke. Abhishek had spent 12 years of his life in Mumbai. He had all these weekend rituals of meeting his friends. Were it not for Mumbai's sky-high rents, he says he would have stuck to living in the city of dreams. We're all familiar with India's boom story. Rising salaries, more disposable incomes, and a demand for a better quality of life. But with many more young Indians migrating to big cities to work and earn, they're finding it supremely challenging to pay rents, even on their relatively good salaries. Yes, our salaries are increasing, but certainly not at the rate that general costs, including rental costs, are hiking. Every rental surge becomes a glaring reminder of the widening gap between ambition and affordability, leaving many with their dreams hanging precariously in the balance. That's all for today. We'll keep looking into how the housing market for young Indians is changing. You just heard The Signal Daily. The Core produces The Signal Daily. Follow us wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts.